things off here, Adam, with New Jersey, New York. Football season is heading our way. New Jersey numbers at least have some people buzzing just a little bit. What are we looking at here as Jersey and New York come into the 2022 football season with at least a little bit more mature market there in New York?
Yeah, keep in mind, we didn't have sports betting in New York until the playoffs last year when it came to football. So we really don't have an apples-to-apples comparison for football season yet. And as we get closer to football season, and admittedly, as we work through a drier time in our news cycle here, something that we've been looking at comes out of the New Jersey results that came out yesterday. And we saw that handle in New Jersey for last month was down to about $530 million. Now, that is, for most states, a pretty good haul for a month. For New Jersey, a state that was seeing routinely over $1 billion throughout the fall and winter last year, it does raise some eyebrows. Now, there are some obvious things you can look at. You can look at the fact that the COVID shutdowns of 2020 pushed the calendar in 2021 in such a way that you had far more NBA action to bet on during July of 2021 than you did in July of 2022. That's the simplest explanation. But those who like to dig a little deeper are asking, could this be where we start to see the cannibalization effect from New York come in? I think there are a lot of people who have been wanting this narrative to come true, to confirm their prior thoughts, and this is maybe where they start to fit that evidence into some confirmation bias. But I don't think we have enough evidence yet, quite frankly. We don't have any apples-to-apples comparison. And so there's really no good way to pull out, was it New York, was it the calendar, how much of either really was it in the end? But I think as we get toward NFL season starting in about a month, this is maybe the single biggest storyline in terms of sports betting in the United States that we're going to be looking at, which is, how is New Jersey going to be affected? How is New York going to continue to perform? And with all of these operators who have been moaning about the tax rate that they agreed to in New York, are we going to see that promotional spend go back up after they very publicly and loudly pulled back on it after football season and after the end of the playoffs in hockey and basketball this year?
Dustin, one of the things that we just threw out there a year ago, right? We were saying, I wonder what happens when football season rolls around next year. Are we going to get the guys who are already betting in Jersey, who like getting all of the promos, who like getting all of these deals? Are they still going to hop on the train and go across the border and make their bets? Are they still going to get in their car, drive over there? Are they going to go spend the weekend over in Jersey sometimes every now and then because there's a big sports betting weekend? That is still to be determined here. The other thing to be determined is, hey, look, do the sports books offer up some packages to get people over into Jersey to make some bets, right? I mean, listen, offer up a limo service. You got some champagne in the back. We'll put you up in a hotel or whatever it might be just to get some of these big spenders across the border where the tax rate is significantly lower. I don't know if we'll ever know for sure if any of this is happening. I guess we could get anecdotal evidence, and maybe if any of these whales want to come out and say that this is happening to them or for them or whatever it might be, we might be able to get some evidence here. But it's at least a question, and it's fun for us to kind of just throw out there because, again, a lot of these guys were getting catered to very heavily as it was already anyway because, you know, they lived across the border in New York and they were already getting the VIP treatment. Will that continue, and maybe even to a greater extent, to try to get them across the border?
Yeah, I mean, let's start here. Sportsbooks would rather people place bets in New Jersey and New York if they can affect that change. I'm sure they will, because they will pay far less tax on any revenue they get out of those players. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I also don't think a sports bettor is just going to go to Jersey for grins and giggles just to place a bet either. But yeah, sure. If I'm them, if I'm a sports book who has a lot of action coming in and it's a meaningful amount of revenue for them, sure, get them over there. Or if you don't have the sports book that you like, if you happens to be one of the ones that's in New Jersey but not in New York, you have something there. Obviously, most of the big ones are in New York, but there are some that are not. So I don't know. And back to the marketing spend part of all this, I know we've heard all this. There's been a lot of we're pulling back. I don't think there's going to be that much pullback, quite honestly. I think it's going to be hard for us to discern the pullback. I think there's going to be a lot of advertising because it is football season is too big for, FanDuel's, DraftKings, etc. Just pull back and sit on the sidelines and say, yeah, we're happy with our customer base. We don't really need to grow that. I think you're going to see a lot. It may not be quite as much as last year, but this first year of New York for sure. You'll have some other there's more to it than just, we're going to sit back. I don't think you can afford to sit back. So maybe there will be a little bit of pullback, but I think it's going to be hard for us to discern that again with just how much is out there. You're spending in the Mid-Atlantic area. You're getting a 3-for-1 for New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. So I don't see that being, maybe they push it more regional than national, but I think there's going to be a lot of spend and a lot of marketing going on this football season, and I'll be happy to be cold taked if I'm wrong,
right.
But I think that's going to be the case. We're going to see a lot of marketing this later this summer, early fall.
And Adam, I think Dustin brings up at least an interesting point here. We have Caesars, FanDuel, MGM, PointsBet, Rivers, DraftKings, Bally's, Wynn, and Resorts World that are live in New York. So we have 9 different sports books for people to choose from. That being said, we know just across the border over there in New Jersey, there are other options that are not available for everybody to bet on in New York. So you've got some of these others where you could look and say, Unibet is available over in Jersey. We've got some of these others that are available over in Jersey if we wanted to go over there. So I wonder, and again, we'll see. We're going to be at football season here in about 5 weeks, like in the heart of it. Do some of these books that know that they're not available over in New York, that they are available in Jersey, is there a way to entice the person to come over and make a bet in your book? Is there a way to get that whale to say, oh man, it is nice that I can sit here on my couch and make this bet, but if I get on the train and go across over there, I'm getting X, Y, Z from this book, that book, or whatever. So maybe there is at least a little bit of some competition from the Jersey side with these books that aren't available in New York.
I think it's a limited pool, to be honest, and I don't know that it stretches as far down into the decimal market share of a Unibet, but I do look at, let's say, a Barstool and say, this might be your chance to actually, crack in a little bit in a way that you haven't, right? Barstool very notably did not get a license in New York, and so they're not going to be in the market. Does 365 want to actually be noisier at some point in New Jersey than it has been, right? Like, we know that they're in Jersey, but not in New York. Their standalone bid wasn't approved either. So you can look at, I think it's some of those players and say, maybe they're the ones who try to make more of an impact in New Jersey. I just think, to Dustin's point, the promotional spend, if you are choosing not to spend, if you're going to be Caesars and stick to the hard line of we've done what we came here to do, then I think you're giving a handwritten invitation to FanDuel and Flutter, who are leading the market, who have made very clear, once the promos are over, we see customers coming back to us. If you don't have a superior user experience or a superior VIP experience, and you're a book that is choosing not to market right now, I think you are opening yourself up to massive potential injury that come this football season.
Yeah, I mean, Dustin, I think that Adam brings up, the one that we continue to kind of lob out there. Is 365 ever going to make their move? Is 365 ever going to make their move? Are they really going to take a massive push here in the U.S.? And, here is that opportunity, in air quotes, where, hey, they're in Jersey. They're not in New York. Can they get people from New York to come over, place bets in Jersey? Are they going to be aggressive trying to do that or not? Right? I mean, I think we can learn at least a little bit here, because this is the first full football season that we're going to get the state of New York. And so, do you aggressively market to try to get people to cross across that border and use your product? I mean, we'll find out here in a month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, 365 remains interesting. I mean, they wanted to be aggressive in New York, going back in the history. They bought a share of a casino thinking that was going to be their path in. Unfortunately for them, that was not the case. They got opened up for bids, and they were not one of them. But I mean, who knows when it is? I think you'll see evidence of it. Yeah, if 365 really thinks there's a chance to make a meaningful move, this is what they've been saying pretty much all along, and what we've surmised is they're going to wait it out and not, if they. But I don't think it's quite their moment to just go out and spend a lot, because because like I said, I think they're going to be going up against a lot. But that this becomes an easier sell for them if everybody else is going to sit back and just rest on their laurels. Then there's a chance. So depending on whether they believe this intel out there or not, they may be more aggressive in trying to market to the U.S. customer this year.
And Adam, I think it's, I'm glad you did bring up Barstool, right? Because there is a couple of different things that do differentiate them from other books out there. Of course, the marketing promoting angle just from the website itself and all that. There is, the availability in Jersey and not in New York and all that. I mean, they've got an office in New York. I'm sure there is, I am near positive, and I, again, can be proven wrong. As Dustin said earlier, I will be proven wrong. This could be cold take a little bit later, but my guess is Barstool's going to be super aggressive in New York to try to get customers over into Jersey. That's just my prediction. I can't say for certain.
Well, I think the differentiator that we need to mention when it comes to Barstool, and it's not necessarily a differentiator from all of the New York sports betting brands, but it's iCasino. We know that Barstool has the ability to market to iCasino as well and to try to cross some of their sports bettors into casino and maybe back the other direction, although we tend to see, we talk more, I should say, about one direction versus the other. We have heard from some of the operators in their recent earnings calls that it can go both ways in terms of selling casino into sports betting as well. So I think that's something that you can look at with all of these brands and ask, do they have a robust iCasino offering, because that offers more opportunity?